Welcome back to another episode of the CoachIQ Podcast. I am your host, Brandon Evans. We are here with Jae Taft. Jae, I won't steal a spotlight from her, but she owns Vision Basketball Academy, and I believe you're involved in a few other things as well.
A little bit, yeah.
Awesome. We'll talk about that. But she is out in Denver, Colorado. I will hand it over to her. Let's talk about, funny story, I am very good friends with a guy who he runs a sports performance facility here, and I train with him. We work out together, and he has sent me some of your dad's stuff before.
Oh, really?
Yes. So like,
that's cool.
when I was getting ready for this episode, I was like, I saw the name. I'm like, really? No
Yes.
way. So I bring that up, one, because it's funny, and two, because you grew up around training facilities, right? Like you grew up around that. And before you started on your own, you were at a Shoot 360, right?
Yeah, for like a little bit, yeah.
Uh-huh. So at what point, you're on your own right now. Let's talk about where exactly you are at right now. Like, what is your current state as of January 23rd, 2026?
Yeah. Well, you caught me at a really good time with that, because I'm actually in the process now of opening up my own facility, which is super exciting. Like like it's not even out yet. I haven't really told anyone at all. So you guys are like one of the first people to know.
We're releasing the information.
Which is like super exciting. And so we are in the process of that. The Lord has been so faithful and so kind, where the first conversation started 5 weeks ago, and the earliest we're opening up is in like 4 months, if we can get the place going in that. So it has been I'll say a quick process from the outside, but obviously this has been a dream for like 5-6 years now. You know how it is. You're a facility owner.
Right.
So it's like really cool to see it just come about and like take like inches every single day, and then look back and see how much it's grown in the past 5 weeks. Like the idea to, oh no, we're actually like looking at warehouses, or actually getting things done, like those kinds of things. So right now, that is where I'm at.
What's your day-to-day? Where are you training out of right now? What do you do? What's a day in your life look like?
Yeah, a day in my life is, I work from home, which is the biggest blessing of it all. Or from a coffee shop, I make my office wherever I want, really. And then I rent out of a church currently, but it's your classic church gym that doesn't have a corner three-point line. The three-point line almost touches the half-court line. We got a crooked rim, so it's like one of those situations. But like the biggest blessing of it all is that it's consistent. Like I'm the only one that gets to use it. The church is like, you get it from 4 to 9. Have fun, and so that's been like the biggest blessing with consistency and building the clientele. So yeah, I kind of just work from my computer all day. I get to the gym, train, do content, use that as my office as well. And then I also help with a little 7th grade team. So I'll have practices a few times a week with that. So yeah, my day is involved in the gym, which is the best.
Right. Let's dive into, because I know facility, or court time, I should say, is one of the hardest things for a lot of people, especially if you don't have your own facility. So I started out of a church too. Oddly enough, it was a huge gym, and it was a very nice gym, but nobody used it. So I am curious to hear, did you make a deal with the church? How did you get involved with them? Like, how did you get that consistency? Like 4 to 9 every day, and then on the weekends is a lot. Like, so what I did, when I first started, I was like, hey, somebody told me they needed money, or they were needing people to rent out their gym. And I was like, hey, I'm doing this. I can't afford the hourly rate right now, but I would love to make you a deal for $5 a kid per hour. So it helps me short term, it helps them long term, which it did. And of course I ran fundraisers and stuff for them, and I really tried to nurture that relationship, and it paid off for both of us. But until I got my own facility. What does your deal look like with the church? How'd you get involved with them? How'd you even approach them on something like that? Kind of go over that for me.
For sure. Yeah. So when Vision started, it was actually one of my childhood friends that kind of got Vision started while I was in California doing my own thing. And then just through like a bunch of stuff, I just ended up saying, hey, I'm going to move to Denver. I'm going to do this with you. And so before that, she actually messaged and emailed like 100 churches. And the only one that got back to her was this one that we currently rent from. She has now moved actually back to Indiana, and she's doing some stuff in Indianapolis, which is really cool. But that's just kind of how it started, and they had no one using it. There's like another little organization that uses it during like the school day. So from that 4 to 9, no one was using it. No one asked to use it. So it was really just kind of up for grabs. And the gym rental was extremely cheap. It was literally $10 an hour, and I was like, wow. We are taking that now because I've never heard of that before, because we'll rent from a high school too with our bigger like high school college classes, and you know, we get the discounted rate, and that's still $45 an hour. So it's like, okay, 10, we're taking it. And kind of how the, you know, kind of the facility talk started too is because they raised our rent for this year. And I was like, the same amount of money I'm paying in rent now for 2026, I could pour that into a facility, you know? And so that's kind of how it got started. It was, honestly, we got super lucky. No one was using it. No one even asked. Like, it's a building too that a lot of the parents, when they come for the first time and train, like, I have drove by this building so many times and I had no clue there was even a gym in it. So we found a little gold mine, and kind of now we're like, yeah, we keep it and it's ours, and it's really cool.
That's funny. It sounds like you're telling like the same story as me. It sounds like you're just telling mine. All right, the same thing. So you mentioned you didn't start Vision. So you were in California and moved to Denver, right? What was that like when your partner moved away? Like, were you ready for that? Like, was it random? How'd you handle it? What was that like?
Totally. Well, previous, like the other like 5 years that I was training, I owned my own thing. I was doing what I'm doing here in California. So it wasn't like, like a big shock to me. We had a conversation for a really long time, knowing that it was gonna eventually happen. So when I took over fully, like, it wasn't scary. Like, I love being a business owner. I love, you know, the challenge of it. I saw my dad, my mom do it my whole life. So it wasn't anything like scary. In fact, I was really excited for it. You know, like, we have such an awesome relationship, and it's really cool that we got to do it together for a season. But we both know, like, we kind of had different journeys, like, for this upcoming year. So yeah, I mean, I was super ready for it, super excited, and I was able to kind of prep a little bit, you know, okay, now that it's like fully mine, like, what would I do different, or what are some things that I want to change, which there were some changes, which is a big reason, like with CoachIQ and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it wasn't scary. It was exciting.
Awesome. Speaking of changes, I want to get into your search for your facility, but first, you just changed your business model to memberships, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Why did you do that? What were you doing before? And how has it been since you've done that?
Oh yeah, I literally had a conversation with someone this morning on it has been life-changing to switch to memberships. And I was on a call with another woman who wants to start training, and I told her, I was like, I get it, the startup, you have more privates and more just like kind of drop-ins to start to get kids in, but the minute you can go to a membership based, please do it. It will save you so much time. I mean, I spent the amount of, like, I still obviously am texting and calling a lot of parents and stuff now, but the amount of times I was just like texting parents to just like remind them, like, hey, sign up, classes tonight, you said you were gonna come, like, you know, like that kind of thing was just like so much and so overwhelming. Like, it was all I thought about. Like, it consumed me. I would literally like have a hard time falling asleep being like, oh crap, I have these many people I need to text, where I would text them like at night, but like do the little reminder or the text like time where you can send it like at 9 a.m. in the morning. So I would do stuff like that, because it just really does consume your mind, because like I want to make money, like the facility or the Vision needs to make money, you know? So, and it was a grind. But then now when I switched to memberships, like I'm now noticing those same parents that I had to remind constantly, they're booking 3 weeks ahead. And now my communication isn't, hey, reminder, we have a session tonight. It's, just like letting them know, like if something changed, or like, hey, like we're switching to memberships, and, switching everyone from the platform I was using to now like CoachIQ. So that's really my communication now with parents, or we're able to talk more about their daughter instead of, hey, get in the class. So
Yeah.
it's been really a big help.
What were you on before?
Acuity, and like going through Squarespace. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I had when I started. That's funny. So something that, other coaches will tell me a lot when I, mention memberships and stuff like that. You were doing pay per session before, I assume.
Yeah, pay per session, or like, you can buy a 10-pack for private training.
Yeah, and use them whatever. Something that other coaches will mention as like a concern is, what are their existing clients going to think? Like, am I going to lose clients? Are they going to be annoyed? Are they just going to go away for whatever reason for the flexibility of being able to do pay per session somewhere else? Did you have any issues with that, or were any of the clients upset? I personally didn't. All of mine really liked it. So what was your experience with that?
Yeah, all of mine love it now. I think it holds you accountable. It's the same thing. Like when I was doing like Pilates or whatever, I'm like, oh, I'm buying this 15-pack or 15 session thing. Like I need to use it, versus if I go use drop-ins, I'm probably not going to show up as much, So I was kind of thinking that. And I had those same thoughts, because I think anytime you have any sort of change, it is scary. Like I did have those thoughts, like, oh my gosh, they're going to go train with someone else now, and like all these things. But like I have to think about like, and be confident in the product and why people come to me to train. And I mean, specifically, we train 99% girls. So it's like they're coming to Vision for like a reason, and I just got to hold to that vision, and like, no pun intended with the name, but like, just got to hold to the vision of it, and know that, they trust in our training, and that's why they're coming. They're not coming because it's drop-in or membership, they're coming for the training. And again, there's drop-in options, but it's more expensive now because I want you in the membership, but yeah, I say, if you have any doubt, like, just be confident in your product and what you give in your training, and just, what's meant for you is meant for you.
100%. 100%. When we say memberships, like, I know how I structure mine. I don't do any individual training at our gym. What does your membership look like? Because there's a million different ways you can structure a membership. What does yours look like?
Totally. Yeah, we have, memberships where you can go like, 1 month, 3 months, 6 month, 12 month. We do still have private training, but my whole like thing is I'm trying to get people out of private training, because I just believe in the group setting model of training, and how like it affects your athletes. Like, I'm very much so, because I mean, I get parents, like, I love them to death, but some of them are like, can you play defense on her the whole time? And I'm like, no, you're my 4th session of the day, and like, I'm trying to do something. Like, it's
my knees hurt.
Yeah, my knees hurt. So it's like, no, and I'm trying to specifically like teach your daughter. Like, of course, I'll do things where like I'll give her some contact or whatever, but like, that's what group sessions are for her to play against people her age, where she can compete and actually make reads, and I can watch from a bird's eye view and then be able to teach. And also too, it's cheaper if you're in. I'm like, that's the thing with parents. I'm like, guys, it's cheaper for you to be in group sessions, and you get way more out of it. So yes, are there people who still do privates? And I think they're good for like certain things, especially being like a woman. Like, there's certain things that with these young girls that I train, like on the emotional standpoint, being able to connect with them, that some of those privates help with, or like for specifically breaking down a shot. But I try, especially with using like my new membership model, to be like, go to groups. So yeah, hopefully that answered the question.
Yeah, I'm sure you get it too. Like, parents will want the individual because they think in their head it's better, because everywhere you go, it's 60 to 100, whatever. And you think because you spend more money that it is going to be better for the kid, right? But in reality, it's the gym time, it's the trainer's time, plus whatever it is for the service that you're actually offering, right? So it's just naturally more expensive, because if you charge $20 like you would for a group, you're going to lose money as a trainer. So why would you ever do that? But like you mentioned, there's so many different reasons why groups are beneficial. And that's another thing where people will have concerns from a trainer aspect of switching to that, is they're worried that it's going to be less personal, which in a way, yes, but no.
No, I agree.
and that the kids aren't going to get as much attention and everything, but in reality, like, the social aspect is huge. Like, one of the biggest things that I've noticed since doing away with private training is all the kids are so much more connected. Like, kids will come in and have real friendships after a few weeks because they continue to see each other in class, and then all of a sudden they're hanging out outside. They start coming together, carpool, all that stuff. So that is a huge reason, like, training philosophy aside, why I like the groups.
Agreed.
Of course, and defense and everything, which is important in making live reads, because we cannot play defense for an hour.
No.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, but we can't. Maybe if it's one session, but that's all I got.
No, I got one in me and that's it. So you better come to that one.
Yeah. So you mentioned in there that majority of your athletes, are they all female? Is like every single one female?
I have right now 2 boys, and they're both 4th and 5th graders. Everybody else is female.
Did that happen on purpose, or it just is?
It just is. And I think it's just, I mean, the feedback we get is, hey, we were specifically looking for a woman trainer for my daughter, you know? And again, I'm a woman, so I have such a heart for women and impacting that game. So I know that's my calling, is the women's game. So I love it. It's the best. But yeah, we get feedback. Like, I always would joke, and I'd be like, I could be crap at what I do, but just because I'm a woman, people bring them, and then they come and then they like the product, which is fantastic, you know? But yeah, it wasn't designed that way. Kind of we could talk about the facility too, but like kind of the way that the facility is being built is going to be kind of designed for women and girls to have a space. So I just see that there's such a need for that in sports with the women's game. And I think, like, again, like, the Lord's been so kind and like given such a vision over this, and just trying to steward it the best I can. Yeah,
that's very cool. I wasn't sure if it was a purposeful thing or if it just happened that way, but I 100% agree, because we have one trainer on board she's a woman, and watching the younger girls like latch onto her so fast compared to, like, of course the girls like all the other trainers and everything, but specifically her, like, just seeing it kind of changed my perspective on it a little bit. So like, I'm trying to find more girl trainers for our younger girls, because we're probably more boys than girls, but it's pretty close. Like, it's pretty close to 50-50 as far as who we have. So I would really like more girl trainers. So I think that's a very awesome little niche you have there. And just from what I've seen, it's super important. I definitely agree with you on that. On that point, do you think there's anything different about training girls versus boys? I always am interested to hear people's perspective. I have my thoughts. What are your thoughts on
100%. 100%. Well, it's funny because I talk to a lot of male trainers or coaches who have only coached boys, and then they happen to find themselves like coaching like a girls team for the first time, and all of their thoughts are like, oh God, like, I don't know how much I'm gonna like this, like, whatever. Every single one of them goes, the minute I coach girls, I'm not going back to boys. Like, every single one, which is so, I'm like, I know we're the best, but it's like, the one big thing I noticed is, and I kind of saw this in high school too, because I was a coach's daughter, so I saw my dad, you know, coach, and like his difference from starting with boys to going to girls is our innate nature is to like please and do things right, and like all those kinds of things where, like, you know, boys are probably fighting alpha male and you're trying to fight like leader of the pack kind of thing, and a little bit of ego. And I know girls, like, we have ego too, but it's just, that's like the big difference, where you're gonna see maybe when you're training, like girls will ask more questions, or maybe be a little more robotic, or kind of like really take what you say as like exact, and not a whole lot of like leeway in that, versus like guys, like when I train, like for instance, I have this young boy that I train, and we're doing a drill, and like in between the drill, he's like trying to bowl the ball through like the chair as our cone, and he's like trying to throw up a half court shot as we're doing this, and I'm just like, I love the kid to death, but I'm like, I'm going to like take this ball from you, like in between everything. But like the girls, it's like, they're just like, I gotta do it right, you know, like that kind of thing. So I would say that's like the biggest difference, where I'm fighting with the girls to play more free and like not be robotic, where the boys, I have to reel them in a little bit more and say, hey, this is what we're doing. We're doing a right hand layup, not a 3/4 court shot. So that's a big difference.
It sounds like that experience is pretty universal. Because I 100% agree. Like I said, our groups are sometimes 50-50, sometimes it's a couple girls, bunch of guys, sometimes it's all girls, and typically it's the girls standing in line and listening, and the guys just doing whatever.
Yeah.
And then we turn around and we're like, all right, good. Let me just I know I'm gonna have to re-say whatever I just said again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So we mentioned in the very, very beginning that you are also a part of another, is it AAU?
It's like a little club team, yeah.
Okay. How does that, like, for me personally, I try to stay out of, the club scene and everything. Just a lot of stuff can go along with that. How does that feed into your training business? How do you manage the two? Because I don't want to get into AAU scene. I'm not saying this AAU, or I don't know how big your program is or what you do, but I don't want people to come here and feel pressured that I want them to play for my team or whatever. How do you manage that? Because I know there's a lot of coaches on the platform that are involved in both and that are very successful with both. I have not figured that out, so I'm curious to hear your perspective.
Yeah, this is going to sound really backwards, but I'm actually kind of more anti-club than I am club. So the fact that I'm in one is kind of insane. But the only reason, and it's not my club team, it's just a coach that I know. And the only reason I'm a part of it is because I believe in what they do and they care about development. It's not one of these programs that you play every weekend. You're playing 8 games. We're actually in a league. So we play 2 games, maybe 4 a month, so it's very like, it's managed. I know I'm very like, I'm sure if you've seen my dad's stuff, how much he speaks out about AAU and club and that kind of stuff. And I'm very not for it. And a lot of the girls that I train are also a part of this team. So it's very kind of like a family kind of thing. And I get to coach them and kind of have that hands-on impact with them from both standpoints, which is really cool. But I mean, I don't know how much longer I'm going to do it. It's just, I love the directors. I love the girls. I love the parents. So it's kind of a fun thing to be a part of. But I mean, I've had a lot of conversations with parents recently who have flat out asked me, they're like, what should I do? I don't want my daughter to play club for the spring and summer. And I was like, come train with me. I was like, and I'm not saying it from like, oh, it's a business, like come train with me. I'm like, no, like she will get better. I promise you. If she comes and trains with me in group sessions and then goes to like their fall league or, whatever, or winter, because in Colorado it's all year round essentially.
Same here.
Okay, because I remember in Indiana growing up, like you wanted to be on your middle school team, like that's what you did, but then now it's like middle school teams are like, they suck. So I'm like, okay, so that's backwards. But yeah, so I tell them, I'm like, hey, go to, you'll like when you get to winter, you'll get better. But yeah, I'm very like not for it for the most part. So I'm going to separate myself here soon from it, especially when the facility opens up and just with training and those kinds of things. So I tell parents and kids to limit their time with club. Use it really as a resource in the sense of, hey, go play a game or 2, but you're playing every weekend, or 3 weekends out of the month, and that's all you're doing, and you're not really training. Like, I promise you're not going to see a lot of growth. So that's where I stand.
Yeah, we agree on that. I could talk for hours and hours and hours on that subject, and I have over the course of doing this to, my trainers, parents, everything. It's just a very big misconception, and it's a wild scene out there. I 100% agree. There are ways to to maintain good relationships with AAU clubs that you believe in. Like, we have a handful of clubs that we really like what they do, and we maintain a good relationship with them, whether it's just a friendship relationship, a business relationship. We offer their kids a discount. There are ways to support the clubs that you believe in as a training business without, affiliations or making people feel like, they're going to be pressured or anything. Because I don't know about clubs where you are, but some of the clubs where I am, they also offer training. So kids feel like they have to be a part of that one organization, which I understand it from a business perspective, but it's really hard, in my opinion, to be really good at team and AAU and also be really good at training and developing a kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of like a jack of all trades, master of none thing, so I like the partnership approach.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'm in the same boat with you, and I agree. Like, I personally like more of the player development side. Like, I've done it. Like, I've coached high school. I've coached, those things, and I get X's and O's, but where I really love is like being in the gym, training, helping them be put in positions to make reads, like those kinds of things versus like on the sideline all the time. And it's nice because this club team that I'm with, again, it's very, I say low maintenance in like a very positive way. Like, we're not traveling all the time, and we're not, whatever. We're playing locally, and our practices are very skill based and game based. Like, it's not just like we're doing layups for 30 minutes and then we're whatever. Like, it is teaching. So that's why I like to be a part of it, because I believe in how they teach the game. But yeah, it's just, as a whole, I hate it.
Yeah.
We'll just say that.
Yeah, I can agree. Yeah. Let's move on from this, because I'm going to start ranting about it.
Oh, yeah, same.
Let's talk about where you're at with your facility. You mentioned you're potentially opening in a few months. There's a lot of trainers that want their own facility, whether it be basketball, whether it be football, soccer, whatever. How did you find the space you're looking into? Where are you at with, making the lease? What does that look like? Did you negotiate the process at all? Just talk about a little bit about how you even found the place and where you're at with that.
Totally. So right now we're still like very baby stages. Like, we're still like, the realtor is sending me the warehouses now. Like, we haven't even stepped foot in one yet, but they were just telling me like timeline wise, they're like, hey, I think where we're at, because they've worked on projects before with other like volleyball facilities, and so they kind of know the time frame of all this stuff. So we're still like baby stages of actually finding one, but I mean, it could happen super quick. You find one, you sign, and you're in. So kind of the process of that has been just a lot of prep work, spending a lot of time like actually like putting the numbers together. Like, what would this look like? Like, even to making connections, like within the facility, I want it to be a space where these athletes can come and get everything they need in one. So we actually have a strength and conditioning coach that's going to have his business in it, so they can do that. Like, we're talking with some PTs right now to get in there and like have recovery processes for these girls. And then like other things, right? Like, we even got a ton of feedback. We put out a big survey, and we got a ton of feedback that we're going to start women's only pickup and women's only leagues. And
that's awesome.
It was insane, the feedback we got on that, and how many people want to be involved with it. And it's just like really exciting. So it's kind of like we're in that middle stage where I'm like, okay, like, we're getting the interest. I'm putting feelers out and just really doing all I can to prepare so that like when we do sign the lease, like, we get it moving, and meeting with people. And there's a few people who want to invest in it and want to help, and putting together the marketing plan for it. So everything right now has been all the back end stuff, all the things that I can do now, so that, again, like I said, when we sign that lease, it's not too much to handle. I've been prepared. I'm doing, and again, you're going to have your hiccups, it's going to be like anything, you know what I mean? And I've seen my dad do it multiple times, so I understand there's a lot of hiccups in the process. But again, I would rather be a few steps ahead and then quickly adjust than not doing anything at all. So
100%. Luckily, you are ahead of the game. Luckily, when I signed my lease, I was able to work with my landlord on. He started it 3 months after, so my lease started technically 3 months after I signed it. So it gave me that time, because he actually helped fix up the place a little bit because it was an old industrial place. But that's something that I would definitely recommend to people, is asking the landlord or whoever is the owner of the building if there can be a build out time in there. Like, I had 3 months to figure it out, so that way the day the lease started, I was ready to go. Like, the court was down. I had kids in the gym the entire day, the day the lease started, versus me having to pay 2 months of that lease, also having to pay the rent at the church I was at, and effectively like losing money pretty much.
Totally.
So
no,
that's
great
something.
Feedback.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great feedback, because that was like when I was talking to the realtor, like, again, like, I've never done this before. Like, I've signed a lease or for an apartment, so I know that process, you know? So I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't know that, like, you could have negotiation in there. You know, it's just such a new process. You don't know those things. So, like, when they were talking, I'm like, okay, that felt a lot like a burden kind of lifted a little bit, because I'm like, exactly you. I'm like, well, what happens? Like, you know, ordering the court takes 4 to 5 weeks to get there, minimum. You know, so like, how do I know when to order the court? How do I know where to ship the court? How do I know, like, all these kinds of things? And I'm sure I have to go in and paint and clean and, you know, all these kinds of things where it's like, you're right, I don't want to lose money on this facility because I have no kids in the facility yet, because we're doing all the groundwork of it. So no, that's great feedback.
Yeah, it's I've only opened one, and I know there's people that have opened a bunch, but it will take longer than you think, 100%. Like, the day before mine opened, I thought I was on pace, and I was here till like 3 a.m. putting the wall pads up. It was rough. But, like, it will always take longer than you think, and probably more money than you think. But you're definitely doing a great job marketing and building hype for it. And something that you're also doing a great job of is you already have clientele, you already have revenue, you already have people coming in, and you have the right model, and you have everything set up to where as soon as you get that facility, it's only going to grow from there, because you have that space now, right? You can do your leagues, you can do all this stuff, you have more space. Something that a lot of people think is they get a facility and then all of a sudden everybody's going to come. It's not how it works. You already got it all figured out. You're doing it the right way. What I really liked about that was you're having a specific strength and conditioning person come in. You're having a PT come in, instead of what I've seen is one person offering all of that at once. It's kind of the same thing that we just talked about with the AAU and everything, and offering training. Like, you cannot be great at all of those different things. I love the way you're doing it, which is like, you do basketball, you do strength and conditioning, and then you do PT. It's all in-house, but you all are running your own individual things, so you all can be really good at those individual things, and you can collaborate, maybe have your all-inclusive packages, however you want to do it. But I think the way that you're doing it is, one, smart business-wise, and two, it does right by the kids and the families. I think that's awesome. And like I said, it's another way for you to bring in extra revenue, right?
Totally.
Decrease your rent.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
100%.
That's exactly it right there. I'm like, okay, this is my lease. How can I get this as low as possible from my pocket? So that's been the big thing. And I think, like, one thing with that is, I'm also too, like, the people that I'm bringing in, like, of course I want my lease, what I pay, to be as little as possible, but I'm also valuing the people that are coming in. Like, I'm not just bringing some, like, rando that does strength and conditioning or PT in, right? Like, I want to believe in their mission as well. And like I've said a few times, like, I'm very, like, faith-based, with everything that I do. And so, like, even the people that I'm bringing in, like, that's a very core value of them, and why they train and why they do what they do. So that's just something, like, that's very important to me, that I want to surround the core center of the facility. And obviously we're there to work, to get better, but like, the foundation, the morals of the facility, is faith-based. So it's the people that I bring in, I also, want them to kind of be on that path as well. And so yeah, it's just being picky too with who you bring in. And I mean, I want the best. I'm sure you do, right, for your kids as they come in and train. So like, why would I bring someone that I don't believe in, especially on the strength and conditioning side, because I grew up in that world. And so I
Yeah.
always say it's a blessing and a curse, because I know what's really good and I know what's really bad. And sometimes it comes off like super know-it-all-y, and I don't mean for that at all. It's just I
You might
value
know.
training.
Yeah, you might know it all. I mean, you got a pretty good person to learn from. So
Yeah, he's great. I might be
yeah,
biased, but he's great.
yeah. A lot of people think so too.
Yeah,
It was such a funny connection when I saw that.
that is so funny.
Yeah, but very cool on the facility. I know you're very new to CoachIQ. You've been with CoachIQ for what, like a month?
Yeah, about
A month?
Mm-hmm.
What, going forward, if you've even been able to dive into it with all you have going on with the facility, going forward, what are you looking to implement more of within CoachIQ? Have you had a chance? What are some things you're looking forward to with that?
Hey, I just want to take a quick break. My name's Russell. I'm one of the founders of CoachIQ. We put on this podcast here. Our goal is to interview top coaches and business owners in the youth sports space across the United States and give you guys insight on the ground floor. How are they running their business? What do they think about the current ecosystem? And what are their thoughts on where things are going? So we're super excited to bring this to you guys. If you don't know about us, we are an all-in-one sports management platform. We run a lot of the businesses that we have on the podcast. And we're fortunate enough now to work with about 1,000 sports coaches across the United States. And it's our goal to make your life as easy as possible in running the business itself. Website, scheduling, payment management, everything handled seamlessly on our platform. And really what separates us is we are built specifically for sports. We're not powering nail salons. We're not powering Pilates studios. Every second of the day, we focus on you. So if that's something you need, where you're looking to get your time back or you're looking to actually grow your business, CoachIQ is really the only platform thinking about you every single day, interviewing and working with the top coaches in the industry, specific to sports. So if that's something we can help you with, we would love to connect with you. You can visit our website, coachiq.com, schedule a free demo there. The demos are awesome. It's really less about selling and much more about just walking through what we've learned and providing value on what other coaches are doing. And if it's a match, it's a match. So absolute no-brainer. Go schedule a demo, totally worth the time. And thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for customers who are working with us. It allows us to do all this, make better product, and the main goal, help athletes all across the United States and the world get a phenomenal experience from you guys, the coaches.
Honestly, I'm just really looking forward to building memberships. I think that's like a big thing. And obviously too, like online products and having those, like those things will start rolling out soon. So using that, especially with the app feature and stuff, and having like the kids, like they can, obviously they're going to have their phone with them. So if they can have the workout like on their phone or whatever, like obviously that's like a game changer right there. So I would say that, because we've done like online, I've done so many online programs, right, in the last 5-6 years, but it's always been like, I've never truly like liked the format that was like what I was using and stuff. I was like, it just doesn't seem like it's designed for sports. Like it's just one of those like coaching courses or, you know, those things. I'm like, it's not very user friendly for like athletes. So the fact that it's obviously with CoachIQ is user friendly for athletes, that's what I'm also really pumped for as well.
100%. Yeah, I've dove into that a bunch. You know, the programs feature, and I like how you can like time release everything, because I know me as an athlete, I would just look ahead and see everything. That would be what I did. 100% what I would do. So I love that you can, like, you can't see this until the next week or 7 days after. I think that's a really cool feature. And talking about building your memberships, along with that, being able to offer that at home stuff is huge, right? So now the parents don't think like, oh, I'm paying $200 for 8 sessions. Each session is so much amount of money. Now it's just, I get up to 8 sessions. I get all of the online stuff. I get shot breakdowns, whatever you want to offer. It's now a standalone product. It's not per session.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's it. It removes the pain of, which is a very common pain in training, of like, oh, I just lost $20 because I only went to 7 sessions this month instead of 8, right? So now they don't feel like if they don't make everything, they don't lose money, right? Because they got that value outside of it and at home. And on the basketball training side, kids need to learn to work out on their own too. In my opinion.
Absolutely. Yeah.
In my humble opinion.
I agree. Well, it's so funny because I did in one of my practices, I put the timer on for like 10 minutes, and I did it purposely to like challenge the girls, like, hey, I'm not going to tell you what dribble move you need to do. 10 of you need to step up and be leaders and pick something to do. And they were just, they could not come up like with a move. I was like, you could just do like right hand pounds or V dribbles. Like none of them said that. They just were like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, that's the problem, is you're coached too much. You're being robots right now, but with also too with like the online training, it's like I'm starting to travel and train like people outside of Denver, in other states. So it's really cool where it's like, hey, like you can access my training, not being in Denver or even Colorado. So like that's what I'm looking really forward to with that as well, to be able to train people with that.
And for your kids that are in Denver, when you're out of town, they can still be trained.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's just you right now, right? Are you looking to bring anybody on right now?
Yeah, I have a few trainers under me right now, but they have full-time jobs. So I only get them a few days a week. And so hopefully with the facility and growing, I can pay them full-time. That'd be fantastic.
Yes.
So, because I'm in a stage right now where I'm just delegating as much as I can. Like delegating is my favorite thing to do right now. So as much as I love being hands-on, I'm like, nope, you got it. You can take it. Yep. So hopefully, yes, we can get them full-time. But really, it is just me right now.
Yeah. So talking about delegating, there's a lot of coaches out there that are afraid to do that. They're afraid to delegate. What would you say to that? Because I used to have that thought of like, if I have them do it, it's not going to be as good as me, blah, 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 all that stuff. What is your perspective on that now that you're doing it?
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, my dad gave me this like thought, and I like thought of it, and that's like what keeps me going is like my business is never going to grow to where I want it to be if I'm the only one doing it. And I have seen that where it's like, and again, it's like, this is my business. Like, this is like my training philosophy, how I put into vision, right? So it's like, I also want to teach my trainers that as well. Like, hey, like, we're very game based, we're very like competitive based. We're going to put you in positions that really read the game. We're not just going to do drills that look really sick on IG, but they in a game they can't make a right-handed layup or a left-handed layup, like we are going to teach. So I find the responsibility of also like equipping my trainers with that as well, teaching what we want to, but also too like giving them the confidence of, I hired you for a reason. Like I see that you're good with the kids. I see the game. So also equipping them with confidence. And I think that helps as well. But yeah, for me, it's like, hey, like I have a lot of computer work to do right now, and it needs to get done. So like one of my trainers, she's a flight attendant. So sometimes she literally will text me and be like, hey, I didn't get picked up today. I'm like, okay, come train. I have a session 5 to 6:15. You can take it. Yeah. Stuff like that until obviously we get a more consistent flow. But yeah, if you want your business to scale and grow, you can't do it on your own, or like finding unique things. Like with this women's league that we're going to implement, like one of the trainers, she has connections to this. Like she'll go sub and she'll play. So she knows the girls and she's good on the management side of things. So it's like, hey, like, can we work together here? Where like, you got it. Like you can plan it. You know what I mean? Like this is training time. This is when the gym's open. Pickup can happen these days, but like you're in charge of like making the contacts, organizing the leagues, like those kinds of things, because it's like, to be honest with you, like, I don't want to do it. Like as much as it's cool and as much I'm already going to be there from, morning to sundown. Yeah. So like, if you want to take it, this is super beneficial. I'll pay you more. You can take a profit of it, like, and there you go. So I used to be that way though. Very hands-on, like controlling, like, no, like you said, like, they know my name, so it's like they're coming for me, and I promise you they're good, like go train with them, they're good. And then finally, like, it's starting to happen now where the parents are like, oh yeah, we love the trainers. I'm like, thank God. Like literally thank God. So
funny on that last point, like I think some of the parents like the trainers more than me now.
Oh yeah, no.
Like I'll be here. The kids are like, "Where's Kylon at?" I'm like, "I'm right
I'm
here."
like, hello.
I know, but yeah, that was great perspective. I think it's twofold. Like one, your time and expertise can be used on actually growing the business. Like you're the one that's getting the facility together.
Mm-hmm.
You're the one that's doing the stuff that actually grew it. And two, on the other side of it, what good is your knowledge if you're not going to be able to pass it down and teach somebody else, right? Like if we're doing basketball training, don't we want a lot more good basketball trainers? Like how good is your knowledge if you're not going to pass it down? Because then that person that might not be under your wing might go under somebody else who maybe they're not as good or they don't know what they're doing or whatever, and then they don't learn the right way, right?
Totally.
Like, so I just think for me, it's like what good am I if I don't pass on what I know?
Absolutely.
As far as training goes, especially to kids, because like not every kid is going to love me, right? Like just for whatever reason or another, not every kid's gonna love me, or like maybe like I said, the girl trainer I have, they're gonna resonate with her a lot more than they do me, most likely. Or they might not like how I explain things, how I teach things, whatever it is. So being able to have 5 or 6 other trainers on board and people that believe in what we're doing is an asset that I will pay a lot of money for.
Absolutely. Yeah, just like you said, and two, it's like the 2 other trainers under me, like one of them was a college post and one of them was a college shooting guard. I was a point guard. I was a college point guard. So like for me, it's like that is so valuable to me to bring in that because I'm 5'3". I don't know what it's like to be in the post. Like I could teach the footwork. I know the footwork, but like the actual feel of the game, you know, they know and I don't. So it's like that value. And then too, it's like, you have to think outside, like you said, like the bigger mission. And for me, the bigger mission is to impact the women's game, you know? And so with these 2 other women underneath me, like they're awesome people. So like, why would I not want the women's game to be impacted, you know, with these 2 amazing women, you know? So I think about that as well and getting outside of myself and my ego and whatever and being like, no, it's for the kids and getting them better and prepared.
100% agree right there on that point. That's another one of those big leaps that every trainer who wants that bigger program, that wants a facility, not everybody does, and that's fine. Like a lot of people just enjoy, you know, having their own program, and that is totally fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But if you do want the facility, if you do want to be able to make that massive impact, it is a lot of responsibility, but if you do want that, you have to have other people on board. Like your own 2 hands can only do so much. There's really you can't do a whole lot on your own. You can, but you can't at the same time, you know? Very cool. Very cool. Is there anything else that comes to the top of your mind that you want to mention? I think I'm all out of my questions. Is there anything that comes to the top of your mind? You can go ahead, plug your socials, where everybody can find you. I'll leave it to you.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the biggest thing is like following along with the journey of opening the facility, especially because it is going to be geared towards women, would be awesome. Like the support of that would be really helpful. I'm going to be dropping kind of a series of like every day, like, hey, this is what it looks like to building a facility from idea to opening day. So that would be awesome. All my socials are at Coach Jae Taft, and then Vision Basketball Academy is like our actual company. But no, like this was so fun, Brandon. Thanks for having me on and being able to chat, especially a fellow Hoosier, you know?
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, that's definitely give her a follow for anybody who's interested in opening up a facility, because learning for somebody who's actually doing it like in real time is huge. So any coach, whether it be basketball, soccer, whatever, that wants to open up a facility, that's a big follow, because you'll be dropping a series hopefully.
Yes, coming
soon. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Well, it was awesome having you on. I hope a lot of people got a lot of value from this. But yeah, we will be in touch. Always let us know if you need help with anything, and we'll be here.
Sounds good. Awesome. Thanks so much.
Yep, absolutely. You have a good rest of your day.